Yeah, we got Mary Janes and lifesavers, Bit said, doubling down. Mary Janes? A man wearing an eye patch called from the back of the room. He set his pool cue down on the next table next to him and walked toward the LowCuts. What y'all know about Mary Janes? We know we got 'em, and lifesavers too. Individually wrapped, John added, just because it was a detail Miss Cece kept adding. The man chuckled. Can't remember the last time I had a Mary Jane. He slapped the guy next to him. You? Been a long time. Used to go down south to visit my grandpappy, and he'd always have that kind of stuff in his pocket. Be all melted and still be good. Grandma used to give us strawberry candy, and when she ran out, she'd give us cherry lifesavers. And them butterscotch, another man. Whew, and don't me get started on them squirrel nut zippers. This came from the guy who ran the place. All this is great, gentlemen. Bit put a pothole in the middle of memory lane. But like the man said, we ain't allowed in here, so how much? Eye Patch asked. Bit turned and looked at his friends, bounced his eyebrows just slightly, just enough for them to see. Bundles of 6, 3 of each candy, $2.50. $2.50? That's penny candy, at least it was when I was coming up. Eye Patch couldn't believe it. My mother said gas was $1 when she was a kid, Bit shot back, and I heard Jordan's cost like $80. John followed, again stealing Miss Cece's line. Guess everything costs more over time. The LowCuts, in what seemed like one fluid motion, all shrugged. I'll tell you what ain't never been cheap. Kids, Eye Patch said. And I'll tell you what's hard to find. Mary Janes, one of the other men said, digging in his pocket. He clearly had no idea that there was a woman who sold them right around the corner. You said $2.50? Yeah, Bit said, bouncing on his toes, anxious. You got change? Bit looked at his friends again, bounced his eyebrows again. Nope. The man pulled $3 from his pocket, handed it to Bit. Francie handed over the first bag. Trista spoke up. Thank you. Hey, I took them dollars off him, he replied to Trista, but pointed to a red-haired man who just laughed and muttered something they couldn't hear. 8-ball corner pocket, cha-ching. The buyer pumped his fist. And that was it. The last 2 bags were snatched up immediately, because it turned out the thing about men in pool halls is none of them want to be outdone. For John, Francie, and Trista, it was like looking at a roomful of bigger bits in the future. $9 later, the LowCuts were out the door and almost out of time. Trista didn't bother checking her phone. They knew they were late because they saw the ice cream truck pulling off from its usual post in front of the 5th house on Placer Street. It hadn't been there when they'd gone into the pool hall. It arrived at 4 every day and never stayed if kids weren't waiting there to buy anything. Gone by 4:02. It was 4:03. So they ran. All 4 of them broke out down the street, sprinting, screaming for the ice cream truck to stop. Halfway down the block, it finally did. The LowCuts ran up to the truck, slapping their hands on the side of it. The driver yanked the window open. Almost missed me, the ice cream man said. He looked more like somebody's big brother than an ice cream man. What can I get for y'all? 4 vanilla soft serves, Bit ordered. Cup or cone? Cup. Sprinkles? Francie, John, and Trista looked a bit. Sure, Bit said. On all 4? Yep. Bit didn't ask anyone else, and no one contested. The ice cream man handed cup after cup through the window, rainbow sprinkles all over them. Bit passed them down so that each of the LowCuts had one, then handed the ice cream man the $9. It's only 8, the ice cream man said. $1 for you, Bit replied. Thanks for stopping. As the ice cream truck pulled off, John, Trista, Francie, and Bit walked a few houses down until they got to a small house they'd all been to before. That Trista and Francie always called cute. John never called nothing, and Bit called home. Bit pulled his key out of his pocket, unlocked the door. Ma, he yelled, you dressed? Seconds later, Bit's mother, Miss Burns, came from the back and was greeted by all of them, the LowCuts, holding cups of fresh ice cream. Not one swirl licked. Not one spoonful missing. Miss Burns looked at them, her face both cloudy and sunny, her skin absent of her normal brown. Bit's mom had relapsed. The cancer had come back, but the doctors were optimistic she could beat it again. Hey, what's going on? How was school? Bit's mother asked, kissing him on the forehead, but he shrugged off the question. How was your first day back on chemo? It was, it was chemo. I'm all right. I'm okay. But she sounded exhausted and rubbed her stomach, a little queasy. I figured you would be. So we got you a bunch of ice cream. Bit waved his arm like a game show host showing off the 4 cups. Vanilla, he said. The other low-cuts watched Bit the hustler, Bit who could turn 90 cents into $9 into ice cream, turn into a son. A son who was scared, a son who loved his mom. And she smiled, her shiny eyes jumping from face to face, bald head to bald head, friend to friend, with sprinkles.